Hello, marry me. So today I want to review an Oracle deck, and the one I want to review is Less Vampires by Lucy Cavendish. Now this is by the same people who made the Oracle of Shadow and Light, I think it's named, and the Shapeshifter Oracle. And it has these amazing artwork. Of course, it depends if you like this style. It is the kind of, what should I call it, Bratz style artwork in that the heads of the figures are ginormous compared to the bodies. And yeah, but if you like that, then I really think that that artwork allows figures to have very nice, expressive eyes, and I really like it. So I've been really looking forward to this day. So it's delivered in this box. It's a book and deck set. It's pretty good quality cardboard. Here's some sample cards on the back. So yeah, let's have a look at the actual product. Let's start with the book. Now with decks that are Oracle decks and not Tarot, the quality of the book is really important, because if a Tarot deck comes with a very crappy little white book or an instruction guide, you can always find Tarot books galore everywhere else that will tell you how to use the cards. But with Oracle decks, the books that come with them are the only ones usually that you can find on that deck. So yeah, it looks like this. It's a medium length book, and so what does it contain? Already got me dusty, I see. Such is the fate of having cats in the house. So yeah, it has the cards, and it has about the author, about the artist, and some advertisement and an introduction. So yeah, the introduction tells the basically history of the deck, uh, how to work with it, why choose that deck, which is a bit strange since you already obviously chosen it since you have bought it, and basically a little bit about working with darker themed decks and so on. And we have also a little vampire story just to get you in the mood for something with the vampire team. And something about how you can bless and consecrate your deck, which can be quite useful. There's a ritual for a ceremonial blessing of the deck. How to shuffle your cards. I have a deal with the shuffling of this deck, so yeah. But sure, if you never shuffled a deck of cards before, this can be useful, I guess. And we have some basic card layouts here. And also something about how to read for others. This one, however, I do like. Always when with books like this, I'm looking for layouts that you can't really find anywhere else, because about every deck has the typical 3 card layout and the Celtic cross and so on and so forth. Here we have a light in the darkness, basically a path through the night deck, and then path through the night layout, and it can be very useful. It's a huge layout. It uses, I think, 13 cards. Yes, 13 cards. So, well, at the same time, it's very easy to understand. So it can be a very good way to get into working with big layouts. And we have the Byzantine cross, just simpler version of Celtic cross in effect. So yeah, and then we have the cards, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed here, because you have the entire this you usually have 1, two, we have between 2 and 2.5 pages for each card, and it stays very much in theme with the deck. Basically, it has that vampire theme all throughout it, and at the same time, it has very nice messages. So it has Less Vampires Speak, which is basically tells the general idea of the card, and you have Blessings, which is basically the positive aspects of that card, the Curse, which has the negative aspects of that card, and you have Working with this card, which is basically how to work with the energies that card represents. And yeah, this can also be very useful if you're going to use this deck for meditation. So yeah, and that's about it. And there's something about the author and the artist. So yeah, it has 133 pages, it seems. Dang, 135 including the advertisement. So all in all, this is a pretty good guidebook. I mean, it's not like it is, some decks, they come with books that you could have bought in the store on their own. They are full 200, 300 pages books with illustrations and all and so on. So this isn't that, but for a guidebook for a deck, it's pretty good. So let's look at the cards themselves. Because I managed to blabber on about the packaging and the guidebook for 6 minutes. These are the cards. And these are the backs of the cards. Now, personally, I don't really like the backs of the cards. I don't think they look particularly good. This tiny little image and so I think it would have actually looked better if they just had it all brown or had some design. First of all, it's that you can immediately see if a card is upside down or not. And I just don't like this design. The design of the cards themselves, however, is gorgeous. So let's just have a look at a few of them. As you can see, they have these oversized heads, huge eyes. They almost like a little bit anime inspired, but not quite. It's like it has a very. It's like if you have an anime figurine that have babies with a typical Victorian porcelain doll, you might get something like this. I really like this card. And yeah, here's one thing that I really like about the cards. And I think these cards might be a very good starting deck for somebody just getting into cartomancy, especially children. Because, like for example, we have this card here, and it is anti-hero. And basically, they have a lot of aspects and archetypes that are very much new, which is very much within society today, which can make them easier to understand for young people. Now, do bear in mind, there are some, not a lot, but a little bit of nudity in this deck. So if you are very prudish about that when it comes to children, you might not want to give them to them, but seriously, it's nothing sexual. It's just that some of the characters just happen to be nude. When I was a child, I would have had no problem with that. I did know that people have boobs, but yeah, if you are terrified that your child might see a nipple, this might not be the deck for them, but otherwise, I think that since the deck is very colorful, it's very beautiful, it would fit very well for a child, and it also fit very well for an adult. It do carry a vampire theme through it very nicely, and I really like the figurines. They usually, it's very, very beautiful. So, you can ask, do it get the symbolism across? Because a deck can be as beautiful as it wants, but if it doesn't get symbolism across, then it has a problem. I would say yes and no. Some cards definitely gets it across, like this one, which is primal. It do get that primal feel to it, the symbolism fits. Others, however, do not fit that well. For example, with this one, it is named Compassion. I don't really get compassion from this card. And I know that the artist sells these cards as prints somewhere. So I do have a feeling that some of these cards were never made with the intent of having them as Oracle deck cards, but rather as prints in themselves, and that they just picked out some that would fit in a deck. So for me, the symbolism is a bit hit and miss. This one, for example, the symbolism is good. So yeah. Uh, all in all, I would say that the majority of the cards have good symbolism, so it's pretty good like that. Now for the quality. The card stock is very, very good. These cards are pretty heavy duty and they have a very nice glossy feeling. This is also one of the reasons why I say they will be good for a child, because unless you're trying to, you won't break these. So, problems with the deck. Well, like all Oracle cards, which tend to be this size here, they are a nightmare to shuffle. However, this deck manages to descend that nightmare into the 9 circles of hell, because when you touch these, they are slightly sticky, I would say, and not sticky like, I don't really know how to explain it, but anyway, they like to stick to one another. And when I first opened the deck, they were sort of sticking together in little bunches that I had to open before I could use them. So, let's see. Now, bear in mind, I do a lot of cartomancy. I also play a lot of collectible card games. I'm not that bad at shuffling, but it's damn near impossible to shuffle them. So, yeah, I'm hoping that as I haven't had these ones too long, so I'm hoping that when I have used them for a while, then they will get just a little bit scratched up, which might make them a little bit less likely to stick to one another. And then they would be fine, but as it is now, generally, if you want to shuffle these, you have to basically lay them out on a table in little bunches and do that a couple of times to shuffle them instead of doing like this, because you will not get them randomized by this. So, what are my conclusions about this deck? I think it is a pretty good deck. I do like the Oracle of Light and Shadows better, but it is nice. It do have a very nice dark vampire feel, but it's not too dark, if you understand what I mean. Some decks that have a dark theme they are definitely an acquired taste for those that are into those things. These I think would fit for anyone, and especially if you have an interest in vampires. The quality is very good, and for the most part, the deck has a good symbolism. So, yeah, I would say it is a pretty decent deck. The main problems with them is that they are so difficult to shuffle. The cards sort of sticks together. Other than that, I have no problems with this deck. It has good quality to the book, good quality to the cards. So I do recommend them. That is my review of Less Vampires by Lucy Cavendish and with artwork by Jasmine Becket-Griffith. So yeah, I'll give this deck 7 out of 10. It is a good deck. I have better Oracle decks, but it's a pretty good deck. I think it would be a good starting deck, and other than that shuffle problem, it doesn't have any real big issues. I hope you have enjoyed this review. Have a great day and blessed be.